This is the Sony A7R VI, the 2026 flagship that Sony doesn't want leaking everywhere. But the specs are already escaping faster than they can patch NDAs. And today I'm going to walk you through every single leak detail, every game-changing feature, every reason why pros are quietly upgrading before the official announcement, and why this might be the last high-megapixel body you ever need to buy. Stick with me for the full 30 minutes because I'm not just reading you a spec sheet. I'm telling you the hidden decisions Sony made, the things that will actually affect your real shoots, and the one massive feature that could make or break your entire 2025 to 2026 workflow. Let's start at the beginning, because the story actually begins in late 2024 when a single line of code appeared in Sony's internal firmware update logs that nobody was supposed to see. That line? AI tracking Gen 3 to 120 zones semantic segmentation. Most people scrolled past it. I didn't. That tiny string meant Sony had already solved the one problem that kept the A7R series from being a true hybrid monster. Subject recognition that actually works in 61 megapixel RAW bursts at 10 frames per second. Yes, you heard that right. Leaked internal test footage shows the A7R VI locking bird eye, plane cockpit, car headlight, even a skateboarder's foot at 10 frames per second in continuous shooting, at full 61 megapixels. And it's not just sticking, it's predicting. The camera is reading body pose, momentum, and even guessing where your subject is about to move before they do. That alone would be enough for most companies to call it a day. But Sony went much further. Next leak, the processor. It's not the Bionz XR. It's the new Bionz XR2, paired with a dedicated AI coprocessor they're calling NPU-4. This thing chews through 240 gigabits per second of sensor data. That's almost double the A12. What does that actually mean for you? Zero blackout. Not almost zero. Literal zero blackout even at 10 frames per second blackout free with full AF/AE tracking. Electronic shutter distortion? Basically gone. Rolling shutter on fast panning is now on par with global shutter cameras from 2027 prototypes. And yes, they finally gave us proper pre-capture. Not 0.5 seconds. Not even 1 second. Leaked test logs show up to 3 full seconds of pre-burst buffering at 30 frames per second in JPEG plus RAW light mode. That means if your kid scores a goal, if the bride throws the bokeh, if the eagle dives, you literally cannot miss the moment anymore. But here's where it gets really spicy. The sensor. It's still 61 megapixels. But it's not the same 61 megapixels. Sony moved to a new stacked BSI XMR RS design with face detect points covering 96% of the frame. Not 92%, not 94% to 96%. And the readout speed? 1/300th of a second. That's faster than the A9 III, which means 14 plus stops of dynamic range at base ISO. Cleaner high ISO than the A7R VI ever dreamed of. And 8K 30p RAW internal with no crop and no overheating until at least 45 minutes. Yes, internal RAW 8K, in a 61 megapixel body. They also added 10-bit 4:2:2 4K 120p full frame. No crop, no line skipping, no pixel binning. And if you're a hybrid shooter who's tired of choosing between resolution and video, this is the body that ends the argument. Now let me tell you the feature nobody saw coming. In-body focus bracketing. But on steroids. The A7R VI can automatically shoot up to 199 frames with 0.1 micron precision focus steps, and then composite them in camera into a single 240 megapixel equivalent image. 240 megapixels. Handheld. No tripod needed. Because the AI stabilizes the stack in real time. Wedding photographers, product shooters, landscape artists. Imagine delivering wall-size prints with detail that makes people think you used medium format. And it's not just stills. They added something they're internally calling cinematic pre-bokeh. You can now shoot 4K 60p with real-time depth map generation. The camera creates a separate depth channel so you can completely change focus, fall off, and bokeh shape in post, even after you shoot. You record once, and you decide later whether you want creamy f/1.4 look, or razor-thin f/0.95 look, or even weird anamorphic oval bokeh, all from the same clip. That alone could make this the most future-proof hybrid camera ever made. But wait, there's more drama. Battery life. Everyone complained about the A7R VI. Sony listened. New Z series battery. The NPFC-100T 35% higher capacity. Leak tests show 780 shots on LCD, 620 on EVF with heavy AF use. That's almost A9 territory in a 61 megapixel body. Weather sealing? It went full A1 level magnesium alloy chassis, 12 new gasket points, improved tripod mount sealing, and the EVF 5.76 million dots wasn't enough. They